everybody, my name is Kay, and this is the beginning of a video series that aims to give you a full and comprehensive guide on Guild Wars 2's raids, what you need prior to raiding and what to do during an encounter. I will cover the basics of every boss and what your role is in each encounter. But now a quick disclaimer. As with all difficult content found in any game, everyone has their own way they like to do things. These guides are not meant to represent the be-all and end-all of strategy guides, and as time goes on people will discover faster and more effective ways to kill each and every boss. So in an attempt to keep the videos as timeless as I can, I will cover the safest ways to kill each boss without the need of extremely skilled players or advanced tactics. So what do you need before you can raid? Let's talk about what you need before stepping into raids. 1. Gear and character setup. Despite what a lot of people think, you do not need ascended armor to begin raiding. The stat increase, though beneficial, just is not needed in a group of moderately competent players. If your DPS is low, the chances are someone is struggling with their actual rotation or missing a trait, maybe a rune or sigil, or using entirely wrong buff food. Making sure that you're running the correct stat type, traits, runes, sigils, buff foods and utilities, however, is extremely important to your group's success. As I hinted at in the disclaimer, the meta changes a lot in MMOs, so in my attempt to keep these videos as timeless as I can, I won't go into details over the current metas as it may be void as of the next balance patch. For build guides, it's best to visit the QT website. I'll link them in the description. It's a very well laid out site and it's very easy to follow. Simply copy what they show you and you have the best build out there. 2. Knowing your class. Unlike any other content in Guild Wars 2, except maybe the high-end fractals, raids really do require you to understand how your class plays. As up till the release of Heart of Thorns, button mashing in dungeons and the open worlds and even the early fractals worked perfectly well, but this is no longer the case, as not following the correct rotation or knowing how to CC with your class will lead to deaths and wipes repeatedly. Again, for rotation guides, refer to the QT website as they are far more up to date and well written than I can ever be in this one video. Knowing your class is a lot more than just copying the QT site, however, as if you don't take the time to read the runes, the traits and the sigils, there's a high chance you won't understand their purpose on your build, and truly be able to use them to their best potential, or might not even proc them at all whilst in the midst of combat. 3. Be ready to learn and adapt. A big part of raiding is having to stop what you're doing and deal with a multitude of mechanics, but left unchecked will end your runs quickly and repeatedly. In my upcoming videos I'll go into detail of every mechanic of every boss. Often these mechanics are left to support roles so to allow the DPS classes to keep up pressure on the boss, but it is extremely recommended that everybody has a basic knowledge of these mechanics, as in case of emergency a quick thinking DPS player can fill that role, probably saving the entire run. Tunnel vision is a bit of an issue for newer players. It is very tempting to stare at your skill bar and make sure you're doing the right rotation, or to see when your next skill is off cooldown. This is a habit you'll have to shake off very quickly, and it really is here where the good players get separated from the bad players. If you're able to learn your class well enough, you'll not need to even look at your skill bar, which frees up your eyes to keep track of the actual fight, and by doing so, you'll make avoiding or combating mechanics infinitely easier, which in turn makes the entire raid easier. And being completely honest with you all, I cannot understate the importance of getting rid of tunnel vision, as until you do you'll be dying repeatedly to the same mechanics, probably causing quite a lot of frustration amongst your team. Now that we have covered our personal responsibilities prior to raiding, we will go over the non-personal points you'll need to have covered before you begin. 1. Having the correct roles filled. This is using the subgroup system correctly, and making sure everyone is in the right group. For example, having both of your PS warriors in the same subgroup will yield no benefit at all, as the might and class specific buff, such as empowered allies they generate, only affect their subgroup, the exception to this being the warriors' banners, as they reach 10 targets, meaning each warrior only needs to take one Maybe a few stacks of might will leak out, but it won't be at all efficient. The same goes for the Chronos, the Druids, and other such classes. Due to Guild Wars' prior gameplay being topped at 5-man content, most skills or boon generation only affect 5 people at max, which means having everyone in the same party means that only half the team will be getting any boons from your group. This has led to the 5-5 comp proving to be extremely reliable. The 5-5 comp works like this. The team is split equally among 2 subgroups. One Chrono to provide quickness and alacrity and any distortion that might be needed. One Druid for heals and a vast array of boons and class specific buffs. One PS for might and class specific buffs. And 2 DPSs for DPSing the boss. Though it should be noted, with Path of Fire coming out in less than 24 hours, this comp may be nullified by any of the upcoming metas in the future. Some encounters might require you to shake things up with the comp, but I'll go into detail of any comp changes in their given video. 2. Agree on your strats beforehand. This is more important during pug runs, as everyone has their favourite way to do things, so often the commander will dictate the strats, but make sure that your whole team is reading from the same page. Now, by following these simple steps, you have ensured the best start to your raiding experience, and I do hope that you found this video helpful. I will now begin creating video guides for each individual boss, so of course, feel free to subscribe if you want to know when those are released. If you enjoyed the content that I make, leaving a like to show your support would be greatly appreciated, as they do take a great amount of time, as I only really have time to work on them 1 day a week, and they can take an extremely long time, especially as I'm only just learning the editing process. If you wish to learn raids without having to rely on pugging, you are all more than welcome to join our guild. Just drop me a mail in game to the name that I've put up on screen right now, and I'll fire an invite as soon as I can. We have training runs 6 days a week that are open and accommodated to each skill level, being you completely new to raids or a seasoned veteran. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I wish you a splendid day. Toodles!